The night was darker than usual. The small human colony, built on the edge of a frozen valley, was silent. Cold winds blew across the metal walls, making strange sounds like whispers in the dark. Most families were inside their small heated shelters, trying to survive another freezing night on this distant world. But outside, in the snow, a little 6-year-old girl walked slowly. Her name was Ilara. She was wrapped in an old coat too big for her small body, and she held a wool blanket in her hands. Ilara often wandered outside even when others told her not to. She was curious and her heart was full of kindness. As she walked near the abandoned field, she heard a faint sound. At first she thought it was the wind, but then she stopped, listening carefully. The sound was soft, weak, almost like crying. Her small steps pressed into the snow as she followed it. And then she saw it. Lying on the frozen ground, almost hidden under a thin layer of snow, was something she had never seen before. A tiny creature curled up, shaking in the cold. Its skin was pale blue, glowing faintly under the moonlight. It had large eyes closed tightly, and its small hands trembled as it tried to move. It was a baby. An alien baby. Ilara's eyes widened, but she did not scream. Most adults would have run away, but she was just a child, and children often see things differently. To her, the creature was not alien. It was simply a baby. A baby that was freezing to death. Ilara slowly stepped closer. Her breath came out in clouds as she bent down, her tiny fingers shaking as she touched the baby's cold skin. It felt like ice. She looked at her blanket, then back at the baby. She remembered how her mother always tucked her in at night, wrapping her tightly so she would not feel the cold. Without another thought, Ilara placed her warm blanket over the alien baby. She tucked it gently around its fragile body, whispering softly, "Don't be scared. You're safe now." The moment the blanket touched the creature, something strange happened. A soft light spread through the fabric, glowing faintly. The baby stopped shivering. Its breathing became steady, and its small chest rose and fell in calm rhythm. Ilara gasped. She touched the blanket again, and it felt warm, much warmer than before. The baby opened its eyes. They were not like human eyes. They glowed with a silver light, deep and endless, like the stars in the night sky. For a moment, the child and the alien baby simply stared at each other. And though no words were spoken, Ilara felt something in her heart, as if the baby was thanking her. But the peace did not last. From the colony walls, a loud horn echoed. Searchlights turned across the frozen ground, moving closer. A group of adults had seen Ilara wandering outside, and they were coming for her. Their voices were sharp, full of fear. "Ilara, what are you doing out here? Step back. Don't touch that thing." The adults rushed forward, weapons in their hands. They saw the glowing baby under the blanket and froze in shock. Fear spread quickly among them. In the colony, aliens were always spoken of as dangerous. Nobody trusted them. To the adults, this baby was not innocent. It was a threat. But Ilara stood in front of it, spreading her little arms wide. "No," she cried. "He's just a baby. He's cold. He needs help." The men exchanged nervous looks. The strange glow from the blanket scared them. Some whispered about danger. Others talked about locking the baby away before it could grow. None of them listened to Ilara's small, trembling voice. The baby, sensing the fear, let out a weak sound, half cry, half whisper. Its silver eyes locked onto Ilara's again. Suddenly in her mind she heard a word, not in English, not in any language she knew, but she understood it. Safe. Her heart skipped a beat. Did the baby just speak to her? No, its lips had not moved. The voice was inside her mind, soft but clear. Ilara's eyes filled with tears. She bent down, holding the blanket tighter around the baby, whispering, "Don't worry, I'll protect you." The men moved closer. One raised his weapon. The baby's glow grew brighter, filling the cold night with strange light. The snow around them sparkled like stars. The leader shouted, "Stay back, girl. That thing is dangerous." But Ilara did not move. She held her ground, her small body standing between the baby and the men. The baby's glow pulsed again, stronger this time. The ground beneath them vibrated faintly, as if something ancient had awakened. The adults stepped back, fear in their eyes, and then, with a soft hum, the baby's silver eyes opened wider, and it looked directly at Ilara. In her mind, another word appeared, stronger this time, friend. The 6-year-old girl smiled through her tears. She did not know what this meant or why the baby had chosen her. But she knew one thing, this was only the beginning. Something much bigger was about to happen. The cold night was no longer silent. It had become the start of a story that would shock everyone. The night sky above the colony glimmered faintly with distant stars, but on the frozen ground, a strange new light had appeared. The blanket, the one the little girl had wrapped around the alien baby, now glowed softly like embers hidden in snow. It was not fire, not electricity, something different, something alive. Ilara, the 6-year-old girl, stared in wonder. She had seen her blanket many times, worn and faded from use, but now it looked magical. The threads shimmered as if the fabric itself carried the warmth of the sun. Beneath it, the alien baby no longer shivered. Its skin, once pale blue, now glowed faintly, like crystal touched by morning light. The baby opened its silver eyes again, watching her closely. Ilara felt it like before, the strange voice inside her mind. Safe. Warm, she gasped, her tiny hands pressing the blanket tighter around the baby. Yes, you're safe, she whispered. I'll keep you safe. But behind her, the voices of the adults grew louder. Men and women stood with lanterns and weapons, their faces pale with fear. They had lived their whole lives believing that aliens brought only war and danger. To them, this was not a child, it was a threat. Ilara, step away, shouted one man. It's not human. You don't know what it will do, cried a woman. But Ilara shook her head stubbornly, her messy hair falling across her face. He's just a baby, she yelled, her voice cracking in the icy air. He's not hurting anyone. The baby's glow pulsed brighter, and suddenly, something unexpected happened. A wave of warmth spread out from the blanket, rolling gently over the snow. The icy ground melted in a small circle around them. The adults froze in shock, whispering to one another. What is this? Some kind of weapon? No, it looks like energy. One man, braver than the rest, stepped forward and reached for the baby. The moment his hand touched the edge of the glowing blanket, he yelped in pain and pulled back. His fingers were not burned, but they tingled as though they had touched lightning. The thing is dangerous, he shouted, fear twisting his face. But Ilara saw the truth in the baby's eyes. There was no hate, no malice, only fear, the same fear she had felt once when she was alone in the dark. The baby was not attacking, it was protecting itself. Suddenly, the baby let out a weak cry. The light flared, and for just a second, everyone saw something incredible. Visions. They flickered in their minds like fragments of dreams. A vast alien city made of crystal towers, a sky burning with fire, ships falling from the heavens, families running, holding their children close, and then darkness. The vision ended as quickly as it began. The adults staggered, clutching their heads, whispering in panic. Ilara's eyes filled with tears as the baby clung to the blanket, whimpering softly. You showed us your home, she whispered gently, bending down to touch the baby's hand. Your world is gone, isn't it? The silver eyes blinked, and again the voice entered her mind. Cold, lost, alone. Ilara hugged the baby closer, ignoring the frightened shouts of the adults. She did not see a monster. She saw someone just like her, scared, needing love. But the colony leader, a tall man with sharp eyes, raised his weapon. We cannot allow this creature to stay here, he said coldly. It is not human. It brings danger. We will take it to the holding chamber. Ilara's heart sank. No, she screamed. Please, he's just a baby. He needs us. But the leader didn't listen. 2 men moved forward, ready to grab the child. Ilara held on tighter, shaking her head. Tears ran down her cheeks as she whispered, Don't worry. I won't let them take you. The baby looked at her again, its silver eyes glowing brighter. And then, something astonishing happened. The blanket lifted slightly as if invisible hands were holding it. The light spread upward, forming a small barrier around Ilara and the baby. The men stepped back, shocked. Their weapons buzzed uselessly against the glowing shield. The leader's face turned pale. This is unnatural, he shouted. The creature is using her. But Ilara felt the warmth inside the shield. It wasn't evil. It wasn't dangerous. It felt safe, like being hugged by the sun. The baby spoke again in her mind, clearer now. Friend, protect, stay. Ilara smiled through her tears. I'll stay, she whispered. The adults stood frozen, unsure whether to fight or flee. None of them had ever seen power like this. Fear held them still, but for Ilara it was different. For her, the mysterious glow was not a threat, it was a promise. The baby's eyes slowly closed, falling into a peaceful sleep, the light dimming but not fading. Ilara sat beside it, her small arms wrapped around the bundle, guarding it from everyone else. Above them, the cold wind howled through the valley, but in that small circle of warmth, one human child and one alien child had become something more than strangers. They had become the start of a story no one in the colony could yet understand. And as the frightened adults argued behind her, Ilara whispered to herself, "I'll protect you, no matter what happens." The mysterious glow pulsed softly in agreement, as if the universe itself had just heard her promise. The night after the strange glow, the colony was restless. No one slept well. Whispers filled the narrow halls of the metal shelters. People argued in low voices about the alien baby, about the light, and about the danger that might follow. But while the adults were afraid, Ilara was different. She sat quietly beside the small creature, hidden in a corner of her family's home. Her parents had not discovered it yet. She had wrapped the baby carefully in the glowing blanket and kept it close. The baby's breathing was steady now, its skin no longer pale. Its silver eyes blinked open, and once again Ilara felt that strange voice in her head. "Warm, safe, friend." Her little heart thumped faster. "You can talk to me," she whispered softly, even though she knew the words were not spoken. "I can hear you in my head." The baby tilted its head, staring at her. For a moment, Ilara's mind was filled with pictures instead of words. She saw a forest of crystal trees under two suns. She saw children, alien children, laughing as they chased glowing birds. She saw mothers holding their babies close, and then she saw fire, ships falling from the sky, cities breaking apart, screams, darkness. Ilara gasped, clutching the blanket tighter around the small creature. "You're showing me." "Your world," she whispered. Tears rolled down her cheeks. "It's gone, isn't it?" The baby didn't answer in words, but its tiny hand reached out, grabbing her finger. She felt its sadness as if it were her own. At that moment, something happened inside Ilara. A bond, invisible but powerful, formed between them. She no longer felt like a child holding a stranger. She felt like a protector, like a sister. But outside the shelter, footsteps echoed. The colony leaders had not forgotten. They wanted the alien locked away, studied, or sent far from them. Fear guided their decisions, not compassion. The next morning, a loud knock shook the door. Her father opened it to find two guards standing outside. "Orders from the council," one said firmly. "We must search every home. The alien child cannot be left free." Ilara's heart raced. She looked down at the baby, who blinked back at her with trusting eyes. She whispered quickly, "Stay quiet. Please don't glow." The guards searched the small home, moving boxes, checking under the bed. Ilara sat frozen, the baby tucked under her coat. Just when she thought they would find it, the baby's silver eyes glowed faintly. One guard turned, frowning. "What was that light?" Ilara panicked. She hugged the baby tighter, whispering in her mind, "Please, please stay still." To her shock, the baby answered back, "Hide." Suddenly, the glow faded. The guards looked around one last time, muttered in frustration, and left. Ilara sat trembling, realizing what had just happened. Not only could she hear the baby, it could hear her too. They were connected. That night, Ilara decided she couldn't keep the secret forever. She had to tell someone she trusted. She sneaked out with the baby wrapped in the blanket and went to the edge of the colony, where an old woman named Marin lived. Marin was different from the others. She was gentle and wise, known for telling stories about ancient times. Ilara knocked on her door nervously. When Marin saw the child with the glowing bundle, her eyes widened, but instead of fear, there was calmness in them. "So it has come," she whispered, almost as if she had been waiting. Ilara looked confused. "You know about him?" Marin nodded slowly. "Long ago, before you were born, travelers spoke of a prophecy. A child from the stars would come in our darkest times, and it would not survive without the kindness of one human heart." Ilara's hands tightened around the baby. "I gave him my blanket. I didn't want him to die." Marin smiled softly. "Then perhaps you are the heart the prophecy spoke of." Before Ilara could ask more, the baby stirred and looked directly at Marin. The silver glow reflected in her old eyes. Suddenly, Marin's face turned pale. "What is it?" Ilara asked quickly. Marin placed a trembling hand on the child. "This baby. He carries more than life. He carries memory. He carries power. If the council finds this out, they will not only take him away, they will use him. Ilara hugged the baby protectively. No, I won't let them. Marin looked at her with sadness. Then you must be brave, child. For shadows are already moving. And just as she spoke, the sky outside roared with a deep, thunderous sound. Ilara rushed to the window and saw lights cutting through the clouds. Ships. Strange. Dark ships that did not belong to humans. The alien baby shivered, its silver eyes glowing brighter. And in Ilara's mind came one single word. Hunters. Her breath caught in her throat. She turned to Marin, who looked both afraid and resigned. They've come for him, the old woman whispered. Ilara held the baby closer, her small body trembling. She didn't know how she, just a 6-year-old girl, could protect him from hunters in the sky. But she knew one thing for certain. She would never let go. The connection between her and the baby had sealed her fate. And now, their real journey was about to begin. The night sky burned with strange lights. Dark ships cut through the clouds like silent shadows, their engines humming with a sound no human machine could make. The colony guards rushed to the walls, pointing their weapons at the sky, but their hands shook with fear. These were not human ships. Ilara stood at Marin's side, clutching the alien baby close to her chest. The silver eyes of the child reflected the glow of the ships above. She felt the voice again in her mind, trembling with fear. They are coming. Hunters searching. Ilara's heart raced. She looked at Marin. What do we do? They'll take him! Marin's wrinkled hand rested on Ilara's shoulder. You must protect him. These hunters are not here to save, they are here to claim. The colony horn blared. Soldiers shouted, Incoming crafts! Prepare for defense! But before the humans could fire, beams of light shot down from the ships, striking the frozen ground. Out of the glowing beams, tall alien figures stepped forward. Their armor was dark, their movements sharp and disciplined. Unlike the fragile baby, these aliens looked powerful, dangerous. The leader of the hunters removed his helmet, revealing a face lined with scars, his eyes glowing the same silver as the child's, but colder, sharper, full of command. His voice boomed across the colony, carried by strange technology. Return the infant. It does not belong to you. The humans froze. The council leader stepped forward nervously. We don't want trouble. Take your creature and leave our colony in peace. Ilara's stomach twisted. She knew giving the baby to them would be wrong. The child clung to her, its tiny fingers grasping her coat. The telepathic voice whispered again. Danger. Not family. Not safe. The hunter leader raised a hand. The child carries what was lost. Without him, our kind will vanish. Give him to us or face destruction. The baby whimpered, burying its face in Ilara's chest. For the first time, she understood more clearly. The hunters did not want to protect the baby. They wanted the power inside him. Marin's voice was low but firm. Ilara, listen. You must run. Do not let them take him. Ilara shook her head in fear. But how can I? They're too strong. The old woman's eyes were sad. Sometimes courage is not about winning. It is about refusing to give up. The ground shook as more hunters stepped forward. Humans panicked, shouting, some running back to their homes. A few soldiers fired their weapons, but the blasts bounced off the hunters' armor like sparks against stone. The leader of the hunters looked directly at Ilara. His silver eyes glowed brighter. And then, shockingly, she heard his voice inside her head, just like the baby's. Little one, you carry it. You share its bond. Give the child to me and you will live. Ilara gasped, clutching the baby tighter. No, he's not yours, she shouted. The hunter's expression hardened. Then you will fall with him. The baby's glow suddenly expanded, creating a small sphere of light around Ilara and Marin. The hunters stepped back, hissing. One of them raised a weapon shaped like a black spear, but the leader stopped him with a gesture. Not yet, he growled. The bond is incomplete. The power cannot be forced. We will take them alive. Marin pulled Ilara's hand. Go, child. Run to the forest. The old tunnels will hide you. With her heart pounding, Ilara followed Marin's lead, racing through the narrow colony streets. The hunters moved to follow, their armored boots striking the frozen ground. Alarms rang, people screamed, and the colony burned with chaos. Ilara ran as fast as her small legs could carry her, the baby glowing in her arms, guiding her path. In her mind, his voice spoke again, clearer than ever. This way, safe path. Trust me. They reached the edge of the colony where jagged cliffs rose high against the night sky. Marin pointed to a hidden opening half covered with snow and rock. The old escape tunnels. Go, Alara turned back. Come with us! But Marin shook her head. No, I will slow you down. I will stay and distract them. Go now, child. Protect him. Tears filled Ilara's eyes. She wanted to protest, but the hunters were already closing in. Marin stepped into their path, raising her arms with surprising strength. Her voice rang out clear and defiant. You will not take them tonight. The hunters paused, watching her. The leader sneered. You are only human. Do not stand in the way of destiny. Marin's eyes glowed faintly as if the baby's light had touched her too. Sometimes destiny is rewritten by the smallest hands, and with that she struck the ground with her staff. A burst of bright sparks flew upward, forcing the hunters to shield their eyes. Run, Ilara, she shouted. Ilara turned and dove into the tunnel entrance, clutching the baby close. Behind her she heard the furious roar of the hunters and the clash of weapons. The echoes followed her into the darkness, but she didn't stop running. The baby's light illuminated the narrow tunnel walls, guiding her deeper underground. Her small footsteps echoed in the silence, her breath ragged. The telepathic voice whispered again, safe, together, trust. Ilara pressed the baby closer to her chest. She was terrified, but a spark of courage burned inside her. She didn't know where the tunnel would lead, or how she could protect the child against an entire army of hunters. But she knew one thing with certainty. She would never give him up. And as the hunters' ships rumbled above, searching for them, the connection between a human girl and an alien baby grew stronger than ever before. The old tunnels were dark and endless. Ilara's footsteps echoed as she carried the glowing baby deeper inside. The walls dripped with frozen water and the air was heavy with dust. Every sound made her heart race. Behind her, far above, she could still hear the rumble of alien ships and the cries of the hunters searching the colony. The baby's silver glow lit the path, soft and gentle. Its small head rested against Ilara's chest, breathing slowly. Though she was only 6 years old, Ilara walked with determination. She whispered to him softly, Don't worry. I won't let them take you. Not ever. The baby stirred and spoke in her mind again. Friend, safe. But danger. Close. Ilara frowned. Danger? Where? But before the baby could answer, she heard something ahead. Footsteps. Not the heavy stomps of hunters. Human footsteps. Ilara stopped. From the shadows, a tall figure stepped forward carrying a lantern. It was Counselor Bren, one of the colony elders. His sharp eyes narrowed when he saw the glowing baby in Ilara's arms. There you are, he said quietly. His voice was calm, too calm. You have no idea how much trouble you've caused, child. Ilara held the baby closer. You can't take him, she cried. He's just a baby. He's not dangerous. Bren's lips curved into a cold smile. Not dangerous? That creature holds power beyond anything we humans have ever touched. Power that could change the future of this colony. Ilara's stomach twisted. She remembered Marin's warning. If the council learns the truth, they will use him. You don't want to protect him, Ilara whispered. You want to control him. Bren stepped closer, his lantern casting long shadows on the tunnel walls. The hunters want the child for themselves. But we cannot allow that. With the alien's power, we can defend ourselves. Maybe even conquer. Don't you see, girl? This is our chance. Ilara shook her head, tears burning her eyes. That's wrong. He's not a weapon. He's my friend. Bren's smile faded and his face hardened. Children don't understand the weight of survival. Hand him to me now or I'll take him by force. Ilara's heart pounded. She backed away, clutching the baby tightly. The baby's glow pulsed brighter, sensing her fear. Bren shielded his eyes for a moment but pressed forward, his voice rising. Think carefully, girl. With his power, we could keep the hunters away forever. We could rule this land instead of hiding in fear. But before he could reach her, the baby let out a cry. A wave of silver light burst from the blanket, pushing Bren back. He stumbled, dropping his lantern. It hit the ground and shattered, flames licking across the tunnel floor. Ilara gasped. Fire spread quickly through the dry wood supports. Smoke filled the air. She turned and ran deeper into the tunnel, coughing as sparks fell around her. The baby's light guided her steps. Behind her, Bren shouted through the smoke. You can't run forever, girl. When you return, the council will take the child. You can't stop us all! Ilara's eyes filled with tears as she ran. His words cut deep. Could she really protect the baby alone? She was only 6 and everyone seemed against her, except Marin, who had stayed behind to face the hunters. At last, the tunnel opened into a hidden chamber. The walls were covered in strange carvings, symbols glowing faintly, the same silver color as the baby's eyes. Ilara slowed, staring in awe. What is this place? The baby stirred, looking around. In her mind, Ilara heard a stronger, clearer voice than before. Home? Memory. Safe. But watched. She frowned. Watched by who? Before she could ask more, movement echoed from the far side of the chamber. Another human figure stepped out of the shadows. It was not Bren this time. It was her own father, Ilara. His voice was heavy, filled with both relief and sadness. You must give me the child. Ilara froze. Papa, you too? Her father's eyes darted to the glowing baby. I don't want to hurt him, but the council has decided. They will destroy our family if you refuse. Please, Ilara, give him to me. Let me do what's best. Her heart cracked. Her father had always protected her, always carried her when she was small. Now he stood against her, asking her to betray the very child she had sworn to protect. The baby pressed closer to her, whispering in her mind, Trust. Choose danger and blood. Ilara's hands trembled. She looked at her father with wide, tearful eyes. Papa, please don't make me do this. He's not dangerous. He's like me. He needs us. Her father stepped closer, pain written across his face. I know, Ilara, but sometimes we must sacrifice for the greater good. The words cut her deeper than any weapon. Sacrifice. They wanted her friend's life for their own survival. And in that moment, Ilara understood something. Betrayal didn't always come from enemies. Sometimes it came from the ones closest to you. The baby's silver glow pulsed brighter, wrapping around her in a protective light. Her father raised his hand, torn between love for his daughter and loyalty to the council. Ilara whispered to the baby, I'll never give you up. Not even to him. The chamber shook as if the carvings on the walls were alive, responding to her vow. A low hum filled the air. The ground trembled beneath their feet. Her father's face turned pale as the glow grew brighter and brighter, filling the chamber like a rising sun. He shielded his eyes and shouted, Ilara, what have you done? The baby's voice echoed in her mind, stronger than ever before. Bond complete, power awake, and in that instant the world around them began to change. The chamber walls glowed like silver fire. Strange symbols burned brighter with every beat of the alien baby's tiny heart. Ilara shielded her eyes, clutching the child close. The air hummed heavy with power and the stone floor trembled under her feet. Her father stumbled back, fear written across his face. Ilara, stop this. You don't know what you're holding. But the baby's voice filled her mind, stronger than ever before. Run. Danger comes. We cannot stay. And then the walls cracked. The carvings split open, revealing tunnels that stretched in every direction like veins of light. The glow spilled out, guiding her to one single path. Ilara didn't hesitate. She ran. Behind her, her father shouted, his voice breaking. Ilara, come back. You don't understand what you're doing. But Ilara didn't turn back. She pressed the baby tighter to her chest and raced into the glowing tunnel. The hunters arrive above ground. The colony shook as alien hunters stormed through the streets. Their leader raised a black spear toward the sky and his voice thundered across the valley. Find the child. He is the key. Dozens of armored figures spread out, their boots striking the frozen earth. The council, desperate and afraid, tried to bargain. We'll hand him over. Just leave us alive. But the hunters did not stop. They had already traced the baby's light underground. Their silver eyes glowed as they marched toward the hidden tunnels. Underground, Flight Ilara's small feet slapped against the stone floor. The tunnel twisted and turned, but the baby's glow always guided her. In her mind, the voice whispered, left, right, faster. They follow. She could hear them now, echoes of boots pounding behind her. The hunters had entered the tunnels. Their growls bounced off the walls like thunder. Her chest burned, her legs ached, but she didn't stop. She knew if she slowed even for a second, they would take him. The baby's silver light brightened the path, but it also betrayed them. The glow left a trail in the darkness, one the hunters could follow easily. They're getting closer, Ilara whispered, panic in her voice. The baby stirred and sent another thought into her mind. Trust. Together. And suddenly the glow flickered, splitting into two. One light moved forward with them, but another darted away down a different tunnel. Ilara's eyes widened. You can trick them? The baby's faint smile told her everything. Behind them, the hunters roared as their group divided, half chasing the false light, half pursuing the real one. The council's betrayal, but danger didn't only come from behind. Ahead, the tunnel opened into a wide cavern. There, waiting in the shadows, were colony guards, and at their front stood Counselor Bren, his face hard and cold. There she is, he muttered. The child and the weapon. Ilara froze. Her lungs burned, her small body shaking. No. You're supposed to protect us, not help them, Bren sneered. Foolish girl. Do you think I'll let our colony be destroyed while you cling to this creature? With the power it holds, we could command the hunters themselves. He raised his hand and the guard stepped forward. Take her. Ilara backed away, clutching the baby. Stay away. The baby's glow pulsed violently, sending a wave of force through the cavern. The guards were thrown back like leaves in a storm. But Bren remained standing, his eyes burning with greed. You can't run forever, he hissed. Sooner or later you'll have to choose between us and them. The desperate escape Ilara turned and sprinted toward another tunnel, her heart hammering. Behind her, Bren's furious voice echoed, mixed with the roars of hunters who had entered the cavern. Humans and aliens, both chasing her now. She was trapped between two enemies. The baby's voice cried in her mind, Run to the light. Ahead, the tunnel walls began to shine brighter, the silver symbols glowing like stars. Ilara pushed her tired legs forward, racing toward the brightness. The tunnel opened suddenly into the outside world. She stumbled out onto a high cliff overlooking the frozen valley. The night air hit her face sharp and cold. She stopped, panting, looking left and right. The hunters were climbing the cliffs below, their silver eyes fixed on her. Behind, she heard Bren and his guards pushing closer. She was cornered. Her small hands trembled as she held the baby tighter. Tears streaked her face. What do I do now? I can't fight them all. The baby's glow brightened until it was almost blinding. In her mind, its voice rang out with clarity. Jump, trust me. Ilara's eyes widened. Jump! The cliff dropped into darkness, sharp rocks waiting below. We'll die. But the baby's voice was steady, calm, almost commanding. Trust. Together. Safe. Behind her, Bren shouted. Stop her! Don't let her escape. The hunters roared, climbing faster. Ilara looked down at the drop. Her body shook with fear. But when she looked at the baby, she saw no fear in his glowing eyes. Only trust. Only hope. She closed her eyes and whispered, Okay, I trust you. And then, with all her courage, she leapt from the cliff into the unknown. The wind howled through the frozen valley as Ilara drifted gently downward, wrapped in the cocoon of silver light. Her tiny arms held the alien baby close, her eyes squeezed shut in fear. But when her feet touched the snowy ground softly, like a feather landing, she gasped in disbelief. They were alive. The glow faded slowly, but the warmth remained in her chest. The baby looked up at her with calm silver eyes, whispering in her mind, Safe. For now. Ilara shivered as she looked back at the towering cliffs above. Dark figures lined the edge, hunters in black armor and human council guards standing beside them. Even from far away, she could see Counselor Bren's cold eyes fixed on her like a predator. They'll keep coming, she whispered. They'll never stop until they have you. The baby stirred and sent another thought. Yes, because I am not just one. I am many, Ilara frowned. Many? What do you mean? Before he could answer, the ground beneath them pulsed with silver light. Strange patterns lit up across the snow, forming a wide circle that stretched across the valley floor. Ilara gasped. It was the same writing she had seen in the secret chamber, but larger, older, ancient. The baby's voice was stronger now, almost like a song in her head. This is the cradle, the memory of my people. It waits for me, and for you. The snow cracked open, and from beneath rose crystal structures tall and glowing like towers of ice. The valley shook with power, and in the sky even the hunters froze, watching in shock. Ilara's breath caught in her throat. What is happening? The baby looked at her, and for the first time his words were not broken fragments. They were clear, complete. You gave me warmth when I was dying. Your kindness completed the bond. Now you are part of me, and I am part of you. Together we are the key. Ilara staggered back. The key? The key to what? The towers of light hummed louder. And then the truth came, not in words but in visions. She saw the baby's people, once a great civilization that thrived across the stars. They were not conquerors, not hunters, but creators. They carried knowledge, hope, and gifts of life. But when war came, their race was broken. Only fragments of their memory remained, stored inside their youngest children, waiting for a protector who would awaken them. The hunters above were not guardians of that race. They were traitors, survivors who had twisted their power using it for war. They hunted the children not to save them, but to drain them, to keep control of the last remnants of their people. And the humans? They were only tools, too blind to see the truth. Alara's eyes widened as the final vision struck her. She and the baby standing side by side, a bridge between two species. If they survived, humans and the lost alien race could live together, heal together. But if they failed, both worlds would fall to the hunter's greed. The light faded. Alara fell to her knees, tears streaming down her face. She finally understood. "You're not just a baby," she whispered. "You're hope, you're the future." The child's silver eyes glowed brighter. "No, we are the future. You and I, together." The hunters descend above. The hunters roared with fury. Their leader raised his black spear. "The cradle has awakened. Take the child, destroy the human girl." They leapt from the cliffs, armor flashing in the night. Counselor Bren's voice echoed behind them. "Catch her. She belongs to us." Alara's heart raced. She was small, weak, only 6 years old. How could she stand against an army? But when she looked down at the baby, she didn't see weakness. She saw trust. She saw love. She wiped her tears, stood tall, and whispered, "Then we fight together." The power awakened. The hunters hit the ground, charging forward. Weapons raised, eyes blazing. Alara closed her eyes, holding the baby tight. And then the cradle answered. The towers of light pulsed, and silver energy flowed through Alara's body. Her small hands burned with warmth. The baby's glow spread into her, merging them as one. Her fear melted away, replaced by strength she had never known. The first hunter reached her, swinging a spear. But before it touched, a wave of light blasted outward from Alara, knocking him back into the snow. Others rushed, but the ground itself rose to defend her, crystal spikes shooting upward. Alara gasped. She wasn't controlling it. The baby and she together were. The bond made them one. The hunters hesitated, but their leader roared, charging again. His voice filled her mind with hatred. "The power is ours. You are nothing but a child." Alara's eyes blazed with silver light. Her voice, though small, rang across the valley. "Sometimes, a child can change everything." The energy burst outward, brighter than the sun. Hunters were thrown back, weapons shattered, their leader screaming in rage as the light consumed him. The shocking truth. When the light faded, silence fell. The hunters were gone, driven back into the shadows. The council soldiers had fled. Only Alara and the baby remained in the glowing cradle. The towers slowly sank back into the earth, leaving only faint silver patterns across the snow. The baby's eyes dimmed, tired but peaceful. Alara sank to her knees, cradling him gently. "It's over, isn't it?" The baby's voice was soft now, fading into sleep. "Not over. Just beginning. Together we will heal both worlds." Alara looked out at the valley, at the stars above. She was only 6 years old, but she carried the bond of two civilizations inside her heart. And as the night grew quiet again, one truth burned clear. Sometimes the smallest hands carry the greatest destiny. The world spun. Wind roared in her ears. The valley rushed up toward her. She clutched the baby tightly, waiting for the sharp pain of the fall. But instead the baby's glow exploded into a brilliant light, wrapping them both in a cocoon of warmth. The air shifted around them, slowing their fall. For a brief moment, Alara felt like she was flying. Far above, the hunters and Bren's guards stared down in shock. None of them had expected this. As Alara and the baby drifted safely into the darkness below, the child's voice whispered in her mind, stronger than ever. "The chase is not over. The great trial begins now."